Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Welcome everyone to the Bronx Sports Guys MMA Weekly of Austin and Chef Dan. I am Austin. This is my coach Chef Dan. How you doing tonight, Chef Dan?
Salute to you, Austin. Salute to everyone joining us tonight and everyone joining us wherever you are joining us, whether it be on YouTube or on an audio platform. That be Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you're joining us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight as we break down this wonderful UFC event that happened over the weekend. It happened, well, to us in the US, it happened Saturday afternoon, but over in London, it happened at night at the right time across the pond, Austin. Well, what do you say about that one?
Yeah, I mean, before we break down on what happened in the car, I just want to say this was awesome. It was fantastic. Any positive adjective you think of, this card was it. And this card just, I mean, my word. I mean, the fact that it was special. I going to this card, this fight card, I was really pumped for it, like really pumped, just because it was a fight night outside the Apex, and plus there was a lot of talent from the UK, especially on the card, and I feel it was gonna be good, but I didn't expect what happened. I didn't expect it to be this good and deliver like this, from the performers to the crowd to everything. I mean, my word. I mean, freaking unbelievable, man. It was, Dana White said it was right. It was special. It was one of the biggest nights they said one of the biggest nights in UFC history, something like that. I forget.
It had to have been something along the lines, because what he said after the event encapsulated what I felt Saturday, Sunday, and even today, which is that this went down on ESPN Plus, but it felt like it should have been a pay-per-view. What we gotten was pay-per-view quality, like just results, and just the pay-per-view quality of fan engagement, pay-per-view quality of fights, the pay-per-view quality of reactions. It resonated so much that even after the event, like, you just felt it. Everyone shook. It shook the MMA world on how successful this event was.
It did. It totally did. I mean, the MMA world still buzzing about this. It changed. Like, this was the MMA world was buzzing after this, and you can't blame them, because what happened. Not just MMA world, but I think combat sports world, especially in the UK. If you're a British boxing fan or British sports fan, it was buzzing. because of the events. I mean, Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, some other British boxers were there. The crowd too. There was some big names. There's an actor, I forgot, British actor who's on one of the like new shows that's like popular. There's Jeremy Piven was there. I mean, a lot of big names. I think Wayne Rooney, the soccer legend, was there as well in the crowd.
It was so exciting. It really was exciting. I had so much fun watching this event, and the event was really good when Dana White decides to come out of his pocket generously. Like I know we're gonna break down all the fights. You guys don't have to worry. If you gotta finish on the card, you got a bonus.
Yep. 9 bonuses, in fact. As you see right here, you can see them,
Like,
right?
That's legendary, bro.
Yes, this is the most bonuses single event since UFC 269. I didn't know UFC 269 had 8 bonuses. I forgot that. And that was only a couple months ago.
That was the one with
Poirier and Oliveira.
Yeah. That was a good card.
Yeah, I didn't know that 8 bonuses. I did not remember that. But
that's crazy. But even then, like, this card is. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but this card blew that card out the water.
It did. It freaking did. I mean, this card had 9 bonuses. I mean, not 9 finishes. Everyone got a finish, got a bonus. That's what it was, basically. Dana White became Oprah Winfrey. You get a bonus. You get a bonus. You get a bonus.
Yeah. Everyone that got a finish, look under your seat. Everyone that got a finish, look under your seat. Dana Winfrey left you something.
Dana Winfrey.
Dana Winfrey left you something.
I like that. That's a good one. Oh, what a good nickname. Man, what a special. I mean, I know it's too early to say card of the year, but how are you gonna top this card? Good luck to all the rest of the cards. Good luck to all of you.
It is gonna be hard because you don't get this it is very, very rare that on one card you get potential knockout of the year candidates.
Twice, yeah.
I said candidates. Yep. He made sure to put the 2 fingers up. Candidates.
Yeah.
This was a lot. Like, yo, this was, oh my gosh. We did. Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even broken down a fight yet. This card in its totality was so much fun. It was just so much fun.
You want to start? Should we start from the first fight in the main card and go to the main event, or?
Yeah. You know what? Yes.
Okay. We'll do it. Okay. So first fight of the main card was a lightweight match between Jay Herbert and Ilia Topuria in the lightweight division. Topuria was ranked 15 in the featherweight division, decided to go up in weight against Jay Herbert, and not Jay Herbert. Topuria wins via second round KO early in the second round, and I think hopefully we got the footage. Here's the footage of the knockout. Non-copyright, of course. And oof.
You see the KO, the vicious by Topuria.
Yes. I mean, Herbert was out. Like, he fell out. His legs went cross and he fell down. I mean, crazy.
It, like, you saw, like, this was a very close match for Ilia Topuria. I want to first salute Jay Herbert because we know, like, it has to be talked about. Early in the first round, he catches Ilia Topuria with a head kick that wobbles Topuria, like puts him down, like on his butt. All that, he's sitting down, and then he just has the mind, the presence, being a fighter's fighter to stay within the fight. Go for a takedown, try and get he got the single leg, and then from there he's working and grappling and trying to recover, and then he does. And you would think that he has a disadvantage in the striking game and that he would want to engage more in the wrestling, which was something he tried to do all throughout in the first round. But then coming out in that second round, I don't know what happened between him and Jay in that first round. But Ilia Topuria got very, very comfortable saying, you know what? I think I can finish this on the feet. And so that's what he decided to do there. And you saw that in that combination, he's throwing it. Man, it's a left hand that goes to the body of Jay Herbert that freezes him up as he's going up. Like, hands go down, hand down, man down. You know what happens next after that? Right hook to the chin, and it crumbles Jay Herbert. And this was like this. As soon as we saw it, everyone said KO of the year.
That's why I texted you when it happened. That's
like, ladies and gentlemen, Jay Herbert, the way he got hit, you could imagine a puppet, strings cut, and that's how he fell.
Yes, that's how he fell. The visual of him falling like a puppet. I think he crossed his legs and just fell like timber, a puppet. Okay, strings cut off. It's just crazy. Especially considering Topuria. I thought Topuria got finished in the first round when he got head kicked, because Herbert called him a great head kick and dropped him. Like, he fell down. Like, I thought it was over for that brief second. Like, oh snap, dang! Like, the card started great, but no, Topuria, give him credit. He showed his toughness. I mean, he got head kick, dropped, but wasn't out. Was able to survive. And Herbert called was something else in that first round. Another shot that wobbled him, but Topuria was able to survive despite all that. And then in the second round, he's able to push Herbert back, and then basically he's able to hit that combo you mentioned, body, and then the left hook, I believe, and just dropped him. Flatlined him. Just so vicious. I mean, everyone was like, holy, you know what, when he saw that, and right there, I thought that would be knockout of the night or knockout of the year candidates. One of the performance bonuses. I didn't know it would be 9, but one of the few ones he won. Go ahead.
Little did we know.
Yes.
Little did we know. Ladies and gentlemen, little did we know. Ilia Topuria finishes this fight in fantastic fashion, and then he calls out Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. We talked about the little scuffle those two had in the hotel. Austin, you tell me, is that a fight you want to see? Is that something you could see happening down the road? What's up?
Both. I would like to see the fights personally. I know Topuria is ranked in featherweights. He is ranked number 15, and he's undefeated too, if I'm mistaken, right? I believe he's 12-0 now. Okay, now I'm remembering. He's 12-0. So, I mean, even though he's kind of, I guess, he looked kind of small. I don't want to say small, but his natural weight class at the moment is 45. So, although I do want to see that fight, especially him and Pimblett after what happened at the hotel last week, with the hand sanitizer and all that was thrown, and they got in the brawl. I mean, Topuria wants it. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, especially Topuria look all right in 55. I think. I mean, some would think Paddy might have the advantage because of the weight. He's bigger. Because Paddy, I heard, it's like kind of a big 155er, but Topuria is pretty damn good. I mean, it's the reason he's undefeated.
It's a very interesting matchup. It's good right now, but it doesn't have any build other than just the animosity between the two. I know Topuria, this was his first fight in lightweight, right?
Yeah.
So he's not really ranked, though he is ranked at featherweight. So Paddy has let it be known that he's on the same trajectory as far as like Sugar Sean, in the sense of he doesn't want to fight anyone ranked until the contract changes up. So right now, who he fights is, deemed based on the contract that he's getting right now. So I'd love for it to build more. We saw that Ilia Topuria became a heel to the fans in London, which was very, very impressive there to see. Like, with the little exchange with Paddy Pimblett, and he was not shy about it at all. I knew it too. I said if he won this matchup, he was going to call out Paddy, and he just berated that man's name and kept calling him out, and it was a lot. But it's something I do want to see, but hopefully he continues to build on that heel look, and that's something that can build the marketability, and that can make for a bigger fight, coming down the stretch in London, hopefully.
Yeah, or Liverpool. Cause Paddy's from Liverpool. They done. I mean, that'd be crazier. But yeah. I was gonna say he's already heel because he knocked out Herbert, who's from England. That already got the crowd booing. And the Pimblett thing just made him bigger heel. So yeah. I mean, I like this. I wouldn't mind seeing those two fight next, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Also, maybe both guys can win another fight and maybe fight afterwards, especially if Topuria decides to go up in weight.
I
But
agree with you. I agree
yeah,
with you, but it's all about whether Topuria has to decide on what he wants to be. Are you going to be a featherweight or a lightweight?
great question. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do the Hamzat Shemaev and dance between two divisions, that's cool. But what I understand is that's very taxing on the body.
Yeah, especially lightweight classes because Ham's at 170, 185, and here and Tapor is a smaller guy, so might be more taxing potentially.
Yeah. So we'll see with that, but we got to move on from that fight and go to this next fight.
Yes, and this was in the women's flyweight division. Molly Meatball McCann versus Lucina Carolina. Did I say right?
Luana Carolina.
Luana. I don't know what. Luana Carolina. Molly McCann knocks her out in the third round with a spinning back freaking elbow. And let me show the footage real quick. Look at this. Just look at this. Shout out to ESPN for that. Courtesy of ESPN, that footage there. But how often do you see a spinning back elbow in MMA, man or woman? I mean, how often do you see that?
It's not often, number one. Even when
How
you do
often?
see it, how rare do they even hit on it? Number two, number three, she didn't even pull it out until that one time. And she said she was training for that move all throughout the camp. She said, if you look at the training camp footage, you see that was a move she was practicing on and she was banking on. So that was something she saw that could have potentially finished her. Could you imagine? Yo, that is Larry Bird calling his shot in TD Garden.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Or Babe Ruth in the World Series, as they say back in the day.
Pointing,
Yep.
letting you know where it's going.
That was exactly Buddha. Shout out to Buddha in the chat.
Roll it one more time so the people can see something. They got to pay attention real quick.
Yes, our Emperor one more time.
Catches her and then look at her eyes rolled in the back of her head.
She was
When I
out.
texted the Jedi, he texted me something so scary. I'm not even gonna repeat it on camera. He texted me something so scary. I was like, oh God, no, please, no. And I had to check, and we had to make sure. And she was able to, with help, she was able to walk off out of the ring, with some help, but she was able to walk on her own 2 feet, out of the ring. And she will, just be staying in London, and she has to make sure she's okay and all of that. And Luana Carolina, not for nothing, she put up a great fight. It's not to take away. We gotta rewind the tape and bring it back all the way to the first round. Yep. Molly Meatball McCann does what she does in the first round, comes out guns blazing, catches Luana with a nice overhand right. It wobbles Luana Carolina. She starts throwing. She gasses herself midway through or whatever. Luana Carolina, she's trying to gauge how to, strike with Molly, but Molly is ducking and weaving perfectly. And it was just Molly McCann's round, all number one, right? Yep. Number two, Luana Carolina starts to get comfortable with the striking. like really get comfortable and finding her range. Molly's ducking, slipping sometimes, but she's still getting caught a little here and there, and she's getting more and more comfortable. Molly, though, is able to end the round with some grappling and even suplexes Luana Carolina. Like
Yes.
suplexes her.
Flexed her like a wrestler.
German suplex.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, it was a great way to end the second round.
It
I
was
loved
a
it.
great way.
I love it. You know, and anybody knows I
Especially,
love slams and MMA.
especially with it being a debatable round. It was debatable. You ended on a bang.
Yeah, yes, it was. She ended up exactly. I mean, everything you said, I agree with 100%. I mean, you said everything you need to say about the first two rounds, and of course, the third
Okay,
round
so
is the
now
legendary round.
third round is a legendary round, but I want to take it right back real quick to the first round. With Molly McCann at the end of the round, she gassed herself a little, and she could still weave Luana's shots. She was doing a little showboating here and there, getting the fans into it, because she was really into it with the fans.
Yep.
Third round now, Luana Carolina, she's starting to showboat herself because she is catching Molly.
Yes, it was.
She was catching Molly. Like, it was looking to be her round convincingly. Molly looks like she can't really, find her way through. And another thing too, I have to note. Also, I forgot this. I remember this now. Back in the second round, Molly's got to work on her grappling and ground and pound.
Good point.
Molly McCann has to work on her grappling and ground and pound because she was able to seize control of Luana Carolina. But all she did technically was while she had her in half guard position, she's just burying her head into the octagon mat. It's just holding Luana Carolina there and not even swinging, not trying to submission attempt, not trying to get into full mount, nothing like that. She had plenty of positions. Me personally, I thought she could have ended the fight in the second round with all that time she had mounted in the second round. But she's got to learn. Regardless of how impressive that tape is in the third round, watching that second round, she's gonna watch it and go, I could have finished it right there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially considering you're not, you can't blow opportunities to finish fights because you don't always get another crack at them. She's not always getting a chance to hit a spinning elbow on someone, especially now that more female fighters in her weight class. I'm pretty sure be aware of to watch out for that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
yeah,
not only that, but this is a dangerous type of fight where you could see she may fall in love with the spinning elbow and start to try and get herself into situations where the elbow would come out.
that's not good because that can
That's
cost
not
her.
good.
But you said I've seen fights where guys do spinny stuff and then they get counted and then they get dropped and finish. I.e.
Yep.
Dolan Kim and Tyron Whitley, for example.
Yeah. So, anyways, we get into the third round, and Luana Carolina, she's showboating and she's catching her, and they get into that tussle, and then I'm looking to it. I'm aggravated at Molly. I'm like, yo, Molly, you let that second round slip away. Boom! I said, oh, Lord.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
Yeah, moment of silence. Moment of silence.
can I say something? I want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that not the greatest female knockout in the UFC
That
history?
might have been, yo. And you know what's crazy? When, like, before I thought the greatest female knockout was Nunes versus Cyborg because of
Okay.
the way those two were throwing heat.
Yeah.
But just the dynamic move. This is the greatest female knockout This is the greatest female knockout in UFC history. It might be the greatest female knockout in women combat sports.
I agree. I think it might be the greatest female knockout in MMA history. Unless it's something I don't know about, want to be One or Bellator or maybe Invicta or anything like that. But
Yeah,
this to me, this was better than the even the Valentina Shevchenko when she knocked out Jessica Eye, that left high kick, the Krokop style. Remember
dude,
that?
or even the Invicta strawweight champ that won it last year when she had that Mortal Kombat style finish. It's in our intro theme.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like that's way like this spinning elbow is way better than that.
I think so. Yes, I think this. I agree with you. Makes it the
Like
Valentine one used for me was my former greatest female knockout ever, but I think this surpassed it just because how difficult it is and landed and the effect and everything. It's just, I mean, everything, and then her reaction afterwards. I mean, going out the cage and hugging Dana and her fan grabbed the belt. I guess that's I don't know if it was her as the people's champ or maybe it's her
yeah, like
ambitions.
someone in the crowd gave her the belt, right? And then this is the other part. This is the other part I had a problem with. So I go on Twitter after the fight, and everyone's like, there's certain people that's killing Molly McCann, like, oh, why would she grab the title after beating a nobody like Luana Carolina? Just that whatever, she's not a ranked opponent, or blah 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 blah. Like, bro, that is an amazing finish. I don't care who you are. Like wherever you were, as soon as you saw that, you felt that. And you go, oh, wow, this girl needs better opportunity. She needs higher ranked opponents. She's
Yeah.
got to get herself tested. And that's the type of stuff that happens when you get a knockout like that. And if she grabbed the belt from her people in the crowd, like she's at home. Like this knockout made, like this was
Her Joaquin Buckley moment.
yeah, but more so than that, like this
Even
knockout,
more.
it was the crescendo of the night. It was a crescendo of the event because everything else was, pretty much kind of as expected. Slash, it was still exciting. It was nothing else was boring except for maybe the Gunnar Nelson fight.
Yeah.
But this was definitely the crescendo because after she won her fight, she got the crowd warmed up for Paddy the Baddy, and she's right there like she didn't even go back to the locker room. She took Molly McCann took Dana White's seat, and she had a bottle of Howler Head sitting right in front of her, trying to open it and get herself a drink after the fight. Like, what's up? I'm
Yeah,
home.
exactly. She home. She's drinking Hollerhead, and she's basically she didn't go back to the locker room until after Patty's fight. She stood there, went to I think she went somewhere else because I think Dana went back to the sea and then was watching the fights until Patty came through and man, yeah, wait till Patty and it's just she was home. I said this was what was you say again? It was Kadar. What was it?
It was the crescendo of the event.
Crescendo.
It was truly the crescendo of the event because this was truly the apex of the event. Like it wasn't like everything else was boring. It's just that this and the way she reacted, and even the extra she did in after her fight, like just Molly McCann sitting there in Dana White's seat having the bottle of Howler Head, it added to the atmosphere of the overall atmosphere of the event. And it just took it up a notch. And this isn't, I'm not saying this is something every fighter should do. Like if you're in the hometown and you got an impressive win, oh, you jump over the cage, you take Dana White's seat, and no, you don't do that. But this was an organic reaction from her, and this is something that helped boost the atmosphere of the event.
Yes, because the atmosphere was already high already prior to that, but it went even another level. And plus,
It
you gotta
went to
remember, yeah, it went to another level. You gotta remember, this is the first time the UFC's been in England in 3 years. So they're supposed to be in London for March 20th with at Leon Edwards and Tyron Woodley, but COVID happened, and then they couldn't go to England for a while, and now they're finally back in England. Yeah, and this, and he have a hometown, not hometown, but like home country girl, Molly McCann getting a big victory. a massive victory, something like iconic that people be talking about for a while. An already
Oh
good
yeah.
card. It just took it to another level, and they got ready for a person that's beloved in England, Paddy Pimblett, getting them ready for that fight as well. It's one of those. It's just the fact. It's just everything. It's just like I said. It's a special card, and this is one of the reasons why. Along with the other fights
Oh yeah.
itself.
Oh yeah. And so like this, like I said, this fight was like this was the crescendo of the event. Truly, this like helped the event. Like after that fight, this funny enough, the Molly McCann result and the way the crowd reacted, it set the tone similar to, and I can only liken this just to recency memory, just memory, recency and memory. The man, the Gagey versus Chandler fight, the
Yes,
way
yes,
that set the tone for that entire event, the way everyone came out and every other fighter is like, you know what, I can't eat, like I gotta step my game up. We coming out here to excite. I don't even care what this other guy's coming to do. I'm coming to throw leather. And as soon as you find out this guy's throwing leather, oh, we on the same page. Let's go. Let's get it. And that's what everyone did.
yeah. You're right about that. What a victory! What a performance! What a moment for Molly McCann. May a
It
potential breakthrough moment for her. It could be. It definitely could be. I mean, we shall see. I mean, she's her name her value's gone up since Saturday night over there in the UK, Saturday afternoon here in the United States. And shout out to Frankie in the comment section.
Oh my guy. Salute to the main man, Frankie Khalees. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, everyone, for watching us live and everyone that watches us later on. Thank you, guys. And shout out also JC Cruz. I like your shirt. Love the shirt of
Thank you
yours.
so much. Yeah. This is Derek Brunson designed. I love it too, man. I gotta get me some more Derek Brunson gear.
Yeah.
It's a positive message on there. I love it.
Yeah, like it. I like it too. And we go from the Molly McCann finish to the next fight, which is Gunnar Nelson against Takashi Sato. And Gunnar Nelson wins this fight with unanimous decision, 30-26. I think all three judges scorecards.
Yeah, this was I don't want to get too much into this fight.
Yeah,
Gunnar Nelson completely dominated this fight against Takashi Sato. He was able to take it to the ground whenever he wanted to. The only thing that kind of was just Sato was game to the rear naked choke that Gunnar Nelson was trying to apply. It's just that he could do nothing to stop Gunnar Nelson from even getting him into the position to apply the rear naked choke. He just could never, Gunnar Nelson could never truly apply the rear naked choke all the way through, but that's what it was all 3 rounds. If you wanted to know how to try and get the rear naked choke on a fighter in multiple different ways, Gunnar Nelson gave you the manual all throughout this fight. And it wasn't exciting because it was so dominating for Gunnar Nelson. This was truly a dominant performance for Gunnar Nelson. The only thing I could say is that I wish he'd work on his striking a little bit more, because I think there will be some opponents that'll provide him a different look to where he won't be able to get it on the ground as fast.
I agree. I mean, we saw in several of his fights where he couldn't get to the ground, and then then some guys were able to knock him out and hurt him badly, where it beat Ponzinibbio, etc. And give Gunnar credit, considering this was his first fights in I want to say 2.5 years since late 2019. Somebody took a long layoff. I remember that. So for him, this was his first fight in a long time. So give him credit for coming back and winning the fight, dominating against Takashi Sato. So shout out to him. But you want to say something else before we move on?
Nah. I want to
All
get
right.
right into the next fight.
Yes, Paddy Pimblett against Kazula Vargas in the lightweight division, and Paddy Pimblett wins this fight via rear naked choke in 1 minute and 3 minutes and 49 seconds in the first round. And You know what? Go ahead, Dan. Just go talk. I'm not gonna.
Oh, Paddy the Baddy. Oh, Paddy the Baddy. Oh, Paddy the Baddy. Oh, Paddy the Baddy. This was truly exciting. This is my guy, Paddy the Baddy. And like you said after the fight, he's never in a boring fight. He got clocked early. He got clocked early, very, very early by his opponent, Rodrigo Vargas. He was, clocked him early on the feet, and then Rodrigo Vargas initiated the grappling, which was a surprise to everyone. Everyone thought that Paddy the Baddy would be the one to initiate the grappling, but it was Rodrigo Vargas that clocked Paddy early. He got him on his, got him on his rear end, then initiated the grappling, tried to do some submissions, tried to get some ground and pound. It didn't really work. Paddy, was defending well, ended up getting back up to his feet. He's up against the cage in the clinch, them two fighting in the clinch. He's, next to his coaches. His coach is telling him head, hands, hips. You know the 3 H's. Austin, you know that. Head, hands, hips. Head, hands, hips. So now they're telling him about the flip. They're telling him about the flip. Rodrigo Vargas, what's going on? What flip? What are you talking about? Maybe it's this. They switch positions, right? So now Paddy has Rodrigo Vargas, up against the cage. Rodrigo Vargas switches them back, but Paddy does that, smartly, just enough to judo flip Rodriguez, get him down on the ground. Boom! Everyone's, whoa! I'm like, whoa, because I'm here. I'm silent while I'm on the phone with Jedi. I wanted to talk the most junk about my guy, Paddy the Baddy, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm not too confident in my picks sometimes against the Jedi. Jedi's been picking against me with the heavyweights, and he's been winning a lot so far. So I wasn't all too confident, but Paddy got him on the ground, and now I was like, yeah, Paddy, let's get to work. And this is what I knew he could do. He immediately, was working on the butterfly with the feet. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what that is, he's trying to get both his feet in a butterfly position on the hips of Vargas, trying to take the back of Vargas, which he immediately does, even gets the figure 4 in early. Vargas is fighting from the back. Paddy, he's striking while moving his arms and set whatever. Moves his hand one way, moves it the other way, gets the rear naked in, sinks it up. He's locking it in. Vargas has no choice but to tap. And oh, Paddy the Baddy. Oh, Paddy the Baddy. My guy, Paddy the Baddy, ladies and gentlemen, took over the crowd, even from the entrance. Ladies and gentlemen, even from the entrance. What did he say? He said, you get me in the O2 Arena and I'll blow the roof off the gaff. That's what he said. And
He did.
Dana White, they keep asking him questions, right? They keep asking Dana White questions about this kid, what are you going to do with this guy who they say the star rise is similar to Conor McGregor? He goes, and he's always coy about it. He goes, listen, the kid told me about the walkout or whatever. He said, I'm going to be impressed with the walkout. But, it takes more than the walkout for me. You got to impress me in the ring. He did so once against Luigi. And then, he did it again today against Rodrigo Vargas. And my Instagram account, he goes, my Instagram account has about what is it? 400,000 to 500,000, something like that. And he goes, when he does promotion for some fighters, for other fighters, it'll range anywhere from 300 to 500,000. For Paddy the Baddy, 1.3 million.
Right. I think it's all the main event, how he posted the face-offs between Aspinall and Volkov, and they did that. And then Paddy the Baddies did a 1.3 million. Excuse me, as Dana White said.
This kid is a star. So he just Dana's being coy about it because he probably knows that with a star like this, management is also difficult to deal with as well.
Yeah.
That's something that I think, he's going to have to redirect around things of that nature. But all in all, Paddy the Baddy, man. He got the crowd excited. And after the win, you see Molly McCann jumps immediately out of the Dana White seat into the ring with Paddy as they're both celebrating, man. And this is organic, man. This is I love it. Never have I ever seen it where like two fighters, you get them on the same card and they're so, they're rooting for each other. And like you see it, like the last time the Brits invaded, and they invaded with a bang. Both of them. They immediately put themselves on my radar. We come back a year later, we're in their hometown and they're doing the same thing on the same card. And they talked about it consistently after the event was finished that, like, Molly felt that even, earlier in her career when she didn't have Paddy along, side on the card, it just felt like, a chore and it really felt like a job. But when those two are on the card together, it feels like they're just in a back alley fighting. And that's just organic. That type of atmosphere was organic. And it felt like, just two kids fighting in the arena and they just happen to be famous and they're enjoying the spoils of all the training that they have. And this is just lovely, man. Was so much fun. It's not only fun, the fights, but the celebrations after the fights, because it's not like they're doing some insane backflip or whatever. This is truly enjoying the atmosphere. And I loved every bit of it, every second of it.
Wow, I mean, it's hard for me to add a lot to what you said. It really is. I mean, give Paddy credit. He got hit with a shot. I thought he was going for a takedown. That's what it was. I know he got cracked, but I don't know if that's what dropped him or he was just going for a takedown, but he got caught in that early exchange.
Nah, I remember he got caught early because I was trying to talk trash and he got caught early.
He didn't. I think he did, but I think he was going for. But Vargas got on top of him. It looked like Vargas was doing all right on top of him. Grappling, things like that, trying to throw some shots. But Paddy was able to get up, and he was in control against the cage. But once they're giving us space, Paddy did the judo flip, the judo throw, which I loved. I mean, it looked so beautiful. I mean, a judoka could watch that and be impressed by that. And once he did the judo flip and like got on top of it, it was basically Paddy's fight, and basically it was beginning the end for Vargas. And once he got that rear naked choke, and then when he got rear naked choke, the crowd got really excited. And once he had the victory, it was just, the place exploded, and it was a great victory for him. A semi comeback victory. Well, I wouldn't call it comeback, but he had some adversity early on. He did.
Versus Luigi Vanderram, like the same thing happened there as well. Excuse me, Vendramini. Against Luigi Vendramini, the same thing happened there where he got caught early against Luigi, but then he's able to, little adversity doesn't hurt a fighter. That's what you want in a fighter, to fight through the adversity. And he's shown that multiple times. Now, can he get out of the first round? Like, can he fight a higher skilled opponent, possibly getting out of the first round, and we see what that gas tank looks like? Who knows? But that's the process of building a star like Paddy the Baddy. We're going to see it. We're going to see him mature.
Yes, and I was saying, like, compared to his last fight, it wasn't as much adversity as his last fight, where he got really rocked several times by Luigi in that fight. In this fight, but it was still a great victory for Paddy. Great victory, first round finish. Was able to and then like I said, him, Molly McCann celebrating. They're both like very close. It's like big sister, little brother relationship between him and Molly, both from Liverpool, the same gym and everything. And and the crowd was. I mean, the crowd was really into that fight. You can tell by the entrance, the atmosphere, the chanting, the Paddy chants, and afterwards, I mean, that was a Paddy Pimblett crowd. I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for cutting you off. Here's how big of a star he is. The fight's over. Tom Aspinall versus Alexander Volkov is happening. And they're still singing, "Oh, Paddy the Baddy. Oh, Paddy the baddie. Oh, Paddy the baddie. Just before the heavyweights are fighting in the main event, they're still singing about Paddy the baddie.
They are, and that shows it was like the people's main event, you can say. And not to say they weren't into the main event or co-main event, because they were, believe me, they were, which we get to talk about. But that shows how popular he is in England, how the star potential is there for him. Kind of like Conor McGregor in a lot of ways.
Yeah, very reminiscent. But like this kid is, I don't know, man. It's different because with Connor, you saw the striking is there, like, but you see with Paddy, he can strike, but he can also grapple as well. Now we're gonna check the gas tank, like if he can be an all around better fighter and still be that star and still be marketable. Oh man, sky's the limit for this kid.
Yes, definitely. And then he's backed by Barstool Sports, which helps as well. His popularity here in the United States.
That is the other thing that Dana talked about as well. For him to see that Barstool Sports is interested in him, he signs a contract with Barstool Sports, and it helps his notability and his notoriety in the United States. So he knows how to build his market in the U.S.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Zach, yep, that's true, definitely. And something Barstool's never done before of any athlete, period, little fighter. So it's a big deal to have for him as he grows his name in the United States and grows a little bit even bigger in England. I mean, more so America, but still, it definitely helps him grow more. It was crazy seeing the video of the Barstool guys, Pornoy and Big Cat, and them reacting to his fights, considering they're watching the fights and March Madness. If you find it, you can watch it. It's really good, really
Yeah,
entertaining.
yeah, yeah. They love Paddy. They love Paddy over there. But I mean, like, yo, I can't get enough of Paddy, but we got to move on to the next
Yes,
fight.
yes,
We
because
most definitely,
this next fight was good, and this guy deserves a lot of attention and praise. And this is the
mm-hmm.
featherweight fight between Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker going down 145, and Arnold Allen wins this fight via TKO. 2 minutes and 33 seconds left of the of round one, and a lot happened. He rocked Dan Hooker early, and looked like he's gonna get Hooker out there. But Hooker, as we all know, is very tough. I mean, just watch his fight with Poirier or even the Edson Barboza fight. He's very tough, hard put away, and and he lands a left hook that hurts on Arnold Allen. That literally fight was about to change after Arnold Allen blitzkrieged him, basically blitzed him and just started with punches and kick and elbows. But Arnold Allen was able to rock Hooker again and be able to put a lot of damage into him to the point where Hooker had cover up, and then the referee basically stopped the fight to save Dan Hooker. And this was a very, I mean, almost a very great way to make a statement for Arnold Allen, because Arnold Allen's a guy who's won 9 in a row in the UFC, but kind of gets forgotten about, not talked about enough. Especially it doesn't help that he hasn't fought in a while, and for him to beat Dan Hooker and stop him in the first round, which only person I can think of that's done that, is Michael Chandler. I know Islam Makhachev did, but I'm talking about strikes more so than submission.
Yeah, first off, I want to salute Dan Hooker because it had to be a standing TKO. He was not going to go down. He refused to go down. His legs got wobbly. He may have backed up a little, but he was not going to go down. And like you said, it looked like Arnold Allen was going to take him out earlier, but Dan Hooker stayed composed. He took some strikes. He was able to block some. He even threw right back to Arnold Allen and wobbled Arnold Allen himself and kind of made it a fight in and of itself. But Arnold Allen was able to recompose himself and finish the job all, through the composed striking. And this was a masterclass of Arnold Allen in the striking, man. Especially with Dan Hooker being a rangier fighter, for Arnold Allen to consistently be able to get into his own range and strike with Dan Hooker, like before the fight, we both talked about it. I thought Dan Hooker's best asset would have been his striking, but to be outstricken by Arnold Allen, it is truly a statement win for Arnold Allen.
Yeah, it is. And Arnold Allen, I like how he's able to avoid Dan Hooker's knees. Dan Hooker likes to throw his knees, which do a lot of damage and help him on his fights. And Arnold Allen kept getting out of his range for Dan Hooker's knees, which helped him in that fight as he was able to land a lot of damaging shots to Dan Hooker. That's one thing I noticed too that was very impressive for Arnold Allen. And this was a great victory. It's home country, home turf, and to put a statement win like that to let everyone know that he is someone you need to watch out for in the featherweight division, as he's not far from a title fight. He called out Calvin Kattar next. That's his next fight he wants, which I want to see. I think it's a great fight to make. That
I
seems like
definitely want to see it. I definitely want to see it. And that's something that could definitely be booked later on this year because Calvin Kattar did definitely announce after that fight against Giga Chikadze, he wants more activity.
yeah, I think that's a perfect title limiter fight, personally. When after the featherweight fight between Zombie and Volkanovski, and then Holloway fights the winner of that, and then you can have in the meantime those two fight. And they fight the winner of the Holloway against Zombie and Volkanovski winner. Not this. I'm not confusing anyone listening to us. You get what I mean, right?
Yeah, I just want to say Dana definitely said after this event he's coming back again this year to London. Let's make that fight in London.
Yeah, Hooker and Kattar
Let's
main
make that
event.
fight. Yep.
Is that the fight you want for main event, or do you want Aspinall?
I don't know if Aspinall. I don't know if Tuivasa wants Aspinall this year. If that can happen, we could do. If that happens this year, we can make that the main event and that Arnold and Cater the co-main event. We could do that.
Yeah,
Possibly discuss that. Possibly going 5 rounds.
yeah. I mean, I agree with that. 5 rounds. I mean, yeah, definitely. You're right about that. I agree. But I just want to say, the Dan Hooker situation, I don't like the fact he went down weight. I think this was a mistake. Personally, I think it showed because I think Arnold Allen was a lot faster than Dan Hooker in this fight. I think that's what made a big difference. And the problem with going down is that they tend to get faster as you go down weight. Especially since Dan Hooker, not an old guy, not by any stretch. He's only 31, 32.
Yeah. He's still in the prime of his life.
Yeah, he's in his prime. And he hasn't taken too much damage since the Chandler fight, really, which was a year and a half ago. Despite what happened with Arnold Allen, I don't think featherweight was a great option, considering a lot of his losses were at featherweight, and he's really a good lightweight. The only fights he's lost at lightweight were to Barboza, Topuria,
Makachev.
Makachev. Yes, Makachev. That's his name. Yeah, just those three fight. No, and Chandler.
Chandler.
Yeah, think of the guys I just mentioned. I just meant Edson Barboza is a featherweight now, but
Studs.
Barboza's a stud.
They're all studs and top contenders. I think, if anything, you're absolutely right. Hooker should get right back into the lightweight division and, just slowly, like not slowly, but work your way back up there because you were fighting the studs, man. And you also fighting the new wave. And yeah, Islam Makhachev is a different breed, man. But maybe on your way back up, you don't necessarily have to go through him.
Yeah, knowing that, maybe don't take you took the fight on 1 month's notice or like less than a month's notice. Too,
Yeah,
which not enough time to train for a guy like Islam Makhachev.
exactly. So you did yourself a disservice right there, and that gave you a skewed result right there. So all in all, I would love to
Go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Finish your point first.
No, I say I would love for like you said, for Hooker to go back to the lightweight division.
I agree. Heck, I wouldn't rule out welterweight for him considering he's kind of big. If you look at him in lightweight, he's kind of big to the point where it looks like, you sure you're not a welterweight? Considering you look at him compared to other guys in the welterweight division.
I mean,
Lightweight division rather, especially looking at them side by side.
I mean, as you do get older, you tend to put on more weight. So maybe he can make that transition. Now, who knows?
Heck, he might go on the Anthony Rumble Johnson route where when Rumble went up from welterweight, light middleweight to light heavyweights, he just became a dominant force in light heavyweights.
That could be. Maybe he hasn't found his true weight class until he's gotten a weight class where he can provide the power and he has enough speed to get the things done that he wants to get done.
Yes, I think
And
he'll be
he's also
faster.
not fighting yet. And he's not fighting the degree of grapplers, i.e., Islam Makhachev in a certain division.
Well, I think he'll be faster than a lot of guys in welterweight. Personally, if he did that, although Kobe and Kamaru will definitely be two grappler guys, still problems, but he might have the speed advantage over both of them. If he does, that's obviously if he does. If that's
and I think with that'd be an interesting fight, Dan Hooker versus Colby Covington. Because I think that type of wrestling, that'd be interesting to see if Dan Hooker had a full training camp. What do you do against that?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not against the idea of him. I think welterweight is a good option. Maybe down the road, not too far distant future, but definitely should go stay in lightweight at least, considering he's had success at lightweight.
Yeah. So, great fight by both athletes, Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker. Even though Dan Hooker didn't get the finish or the desired result he wanted, he still put on a show in my book because he is a fighter through and through, and he did not go down not one bit. He was conscious. It had to be a standing TKO. That was the only way. The referee had to stop it. That was it.
Yeah, Dan Hooker's very too tough for his own good sometimes, and yeah, he shows toughness. Shout out to Dan Hooker and shout out to Arnold Allen. Biggest victory of his career. In his home country now, he puts himself right here, right. Basically, this is close to title fights. He just one more victory, and how can you deny this guy a title fight? He's
you can, but you can't. You can't, but you can as well because Max Holloway is still floating around in the division.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Like I said, that's why I think you do the Volkanovski Zombie, which is 2 weeks from now, actually. Yeah, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from this Saturday, it's gonna be Volkanovski Zombie. The winner fights Holloway, and then Cater and Arnold Allen fight. Winner gets the winner of Holloway versus who the champion is, and you make it simple. Boom! Makes sense for the featherweight division. Personally, I think that's how you can resolve that issue. But yeah,
we'll see as. What I'm saying, we'll see as time goes by, as Arnold Allen representing the UK put on a great show on Saturday, and we can move on right from there into the main event in the heavyweight division. Tom Aspinall versus Alexander Volkov. This ended in the first round via submission, straight arm lock. Tom Aspinall wins this 345 in the first round, and man, dominant.
Yep.
Dominant.
It was very dominant.
It's crazy. I like Tom Aspinall so much. As much as I want to talk about this fight, it's not much to talk about this fight. He just dominated Alexander Volkov in the striking game, then got him down, then got the arm lock, took Volkov to the arm lock, and then just made Volkov tap out. It was a dominant performance. Volkov's range meant nothing to Aspinall because he's just so light with the feet. He moves like a welterweight, but he's so fluid and it's dominant. I just want to see him fight again.
I do too. And this Volkov, even though he's been defeated before, but never, ever, first round, he's never been dominated from that quickly in a fight in a long time. I was checking his record and see, has he ever lost in the first round? He hasn't lost in the first round since 2013, November of 2013. And that was at least 15 fights earlier, at least, not more. And for Tom Aspinall to do that to a guy who does get dominated like that, Curtis Blades beat him, but it wasn't domination. He dominated him, but not like this. Not like this. Not like this. Sandy was zero gone. He didn't dominate him like this. Volkov had his moments in both fights.
I want to I want to see Tom Aspinall versus. I want to see him versus Cyril Gahn. I want to see him versus Tai Tuivasa.
Vasa
I want to potentially see him versus John Jones.
or
I want to see him
Stipe.
versus Stipe. I want to see him versus Ngannou. I want to see him versus all these guys. He's that interesting of a prospect because he's so fluid, and the sky's the limit for this guy.
Yes, I agree. I can see why people in the UK have been so big on him because a lot of people from the UK MMA fans and people who follow that scene were very high on Aspinall from the beginning. They believe in this guy. This guy was the next generation of heavyweights. And I was going to mention that Arnold Allen's kind of like the next generation of like fighters from the UK, along with Aspinall. Aspinall is the same thing,
And
especially
another
in the heavyweight division too.
And another thing I want to say, I want to apologize to Tom Aspinall because I remember when the Brits invaded, I gave him a hard time because he said that he wanted to take his time climbing up the ranks. But I believe that was something his camp told him to say because they wanted him to take the slow ride. He kind of wants to rush it up there, and for whatever reason they wanted him to slow down. Maybe they wanted to see get him under some more training or this that whatever they know him best would. I don't know, but hey, time is now. Word to John Cena, the time is now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the moment that I remember the most in this fight is Volkov. I think threw a straight right hand or a front kick, and Aspinall just like leaned back, and just dodged like a middleweight. Like you don't expect heavyweights to move like that. That's a middleweight, welterweight, lightweight stuff. This guy leaned back out the way like Fat Joe and chicken.
Like he's feathery on his feet.
Yeah, featherweight, and took him down just straight armbar. And some people were surprised by a guy won by an armbar. But the thing is, you watched it. Volkov's arm, you could tell if he didn't tap quickly, it had chances of his arm being dislocated. And and Aspinall's a strong guy. Let's not forget, he's 6'5", 250 something. He's strong, and I heard it's easier for strong guys pull up that submission. And for him to do that shows how good and strong he is. He's just well rounded, and he can do a lot of things. This guy's a problem in this weight class. Don't be surprised if Aspinall by the end of next year, in my opinion, will be heavyweight champion.
Or at least in that round robin of the top 5. Because I think we're going to get some news soon from Dana White about an interim heavyweight championship.
I agree, because Friends Ngannou this past week just had knee surgery, so it's
So
kind of
he's out
silent for a while. Yep.
Yep.
Also, I like the fact he called Tai Tuivasa. He called as a guy who's ranked in the top 5. A guy who's doing well, and if he knows if he beats Tai Tuivasa and someone knocks him out, it's gonna be hard to deny him a title fights, even with Stipe and John Jones and those guys. I mean, Zero Guy. It's gonna be hard to deny this guy because one thing he has, those guys don't have. Well, Zero Gone kind of somewhat a nation right behind him.
Yeah,
and
not only. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, especially considering how big the UK market is now in the UFC, especially England.
Yeah, he has the potential. All he has to do now is learn. Man, if he could get in touch with Paddy and kind of talk with them and learn how to market himself just as well in the US. That way, when you sell out you don't just take care of selling out in London, but you can sell out in the US as well. It looks good for him.
Like his pal Tyson Fury has done. It's not Fury did send a message encouragement last week prior to this fight, encouraging him. I think they might train together. It seems like, or they're somewhat aware of each other. I'm not sure the relationship. I know they're both from Manchester area or something like that. I don't know the relationship, but it seems like maybe they're close. You could definitely talk to Tyson Fury how to become a guy who can sell arenas not just in England but America and perhaps the world even.
Yep.
I mean, he's there. This is a great
moment.
Yeah,
he's there.
And
yep.
I'm not sure you saw this, but the British fans, after the show was over in the parking lot, were singing a chant of Aspinall, like Aspinall songs. You didn't like it was like
I didn't see the videos, but I'll look for them.
They're there, and MacLife has it. MacLife has that.
Okay,
If
yeah, all right. I'll look it up.
if
Mac Life always has the videos. You're absolutely right.
Paddy Pimblett was the number one most popular guy by the fans, it looked like Tom Aspinall might have been number 2 or close to number 1 because the crowd afterwards they were really like singing his praises, singing changing his name to his song
Hmm.
Aspinall.
I think the only thing that this event missed, as far as like, just because the guy was hurt, I wanted to see some Darren Till.
Me
Darren Till
too.
was in the corner of Aspinall, and it kind of made me just a little jealous of like, oh man, I wanted to see him in the ring, but he is recovering from I believe, what is it, ACL?
I thought it was collarbone.
Collarbone. You're right, it was a collarbone. Last injury he had was the ACL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's recovering from a collarbone injury right now. So hopefully he heals well. But other than that, man, is there any fighters on the preliminaries that you want to shout out? Because the
Yes.
preliminaries were action packed as well.
I want to shout sorry, I thought I was gonna burp. I want to shout Makwan Americani, his first round submission guillotine chokeout of Mike Grundy in the first round. So they put the footage here. Shout, as you can see, Kwani win by submission, not putting Grundy to sleep. I mean, basically, Grundy went for a takedown. Now Kwani just walked up the guillotine, basically held on tightly, and was able to choke him out with like a minute into the first round. Like it was so quick and easy. It was like shocking to see. It was
Yeah.
probably easiest win of his career, and Mike Grundy is no joke. He's no scrub either.
Oh yeah. Another person a person I want to shout out. This guy, I loved his energy. The way he started off the event, he started it right. Muhammad Mokayev, he defeated Cody Durden in the first round via guillotine choke. This was dominant as well. Muhammad Mokayev this was a dominant performance for him. He got love from the crowd as well, and he was just he's so infectious. His energy was so infectious. He's like, Uncle Donna, I DM you. I tell you 4 years ago, I'm going to be in UFC. You're going to give me performance bonus. I'm going to be here. What I say is still there. I'm like, oh man, this guy is so infectious. I love it. Sorry for the bad accent, but I love it. I love the just I love what he was able to do, with the mic time and even his time in the ring. So dominant, and I'm looking forward to more of Muhammad Mokayev.
Yeah, yeah, that was a great victory. 58 seconds. I mean, quick, easy for debut performance bonus. He did. I mean, he was right. It's you gotta give the man tip of your hat to Muhammad Mokayev. Another guy I want to shout out is Paul Craig. Paul Craig. I mean, considering that I thought he got finished at one point. Like, didn't look like he got finished. Like when he got like some of the ground and pound
Bro,
Krylov
he's
was
a
landing on him.
gambling man. He's a gambling man. He is a gambling man. For you to take ground and pound shots looking for a submission, you're crazy.
He knew that his jiu-jitsu was better than Krylov's, but the way he did it, like I don't advise it. Like I think the commentator was mentioning, like even though it worked and he knew that he had better grappling still, like he kind of took more shots than he probably should have. Considering at one point I thought he was out. It looked like he was out, but it wasn't. You
Yeah,
know what I'm talking about, right?
yes, I know what you're talking about.
He got hit several
And then
times. Yeah.
but see, at least look, Paul Craig. This is what I love about Paul Craig, man. I love me some Beer Drew. I'm gonna quote what's his name, Jamal Hill. I love me some Beer Drew. He goes, Bisping asked him. He goes, man, you were taking a lot of shots there, man. Like it looked like you were almost out there. What happened there? He's like, nah, man. I'm like Hulk Hogan. You hit me and it fires me up. So I'm like, I'm like, bro. But Paul Craig, man, that was a great fight by him, and he's a crazy man. He is
He
a crazy
is.
man. A name that I want to shout out is Jack Shore. Jack Shore, I know he didn't want to go to decision, but he won this fight via unanimous decision against Timur Valiev. It went the full distance, man. Jack Shore was really trying to finish this fight. He was on his bike. He was very, very, very active. The one thing I want to say about Jack Shore, though, is as great as a grappler as he is, he's got to work on the striking. If you really want to finish this fight and you really wanted to, not be in the if you really want to be decisive in your finishes and not leave it to the judge's hands, like your strike, you ain't got to be a world-class striker either, but just enough that you can mix it in with your wrestling, and you will truly be truly be a mixed martial artist that is unstoppable, because he's right there, man. He is right there for Jack Shore. I love it. I love seeing it, and I want to see the growth for him.
Yeah, and he was on, and him and I forget his opponent's name. Timur
Valiev.
Timur Valiev. We're both undefeated too, and for Jack Shore to beat someone from Dagestan who's undefeated. That people hide Dagestani fighters during the high regard, especially considering he did face some adversity in that fight. Jack Shore, it shows how good he is, and that he's gonna be a problem in his weight class. Jack Shore, name you probably start remembering. And I wouldn't be surprised if him and Timina fight again down the road.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Also, another guy I want to mention is Sergey Pavlovich, who beat Shamil Abdur. Can I pronounce his last name?
Abdurakhimov.
Abdurakhimov. There we go. First round TKO. Although the fight, the stoppage was somewhat questionable by some people, but at the same time, Shamil, I don't think he was really gonna do anything to get out of that situation either. By Pavlovich, I think Pavlovich just was landing a couple good shots, and then from there, Shamil was in trouble.
Yeah, this fight started off slowly, but then they started to really throw some haymakers at each other, and like you said, Shamil, I mean, with the amount of power each guy was generating, when Sergey got Shamil in a compromising position, there was nothing he could have done.
Sergey is 15-1, by the way, after this victory. Yeah, I think it's another heavyweight to watch out for. We always it's usually always like him and Volkov are teammates, so it's possible we got two Russian heavyweights in the top 10 who are big problems for this heavyweight division for a while now. With him and Sergey Pavlovich, who I think will be top 10 by either the end of this year or next year. And the guy's 15-1, worth 15-1 for a reason. So watch out for that name.
Yeah, most definitely. So I mean, with that being said, is there any other anything else you want to bring up in regards to this event?
The British crowd. British crowds are gotta give them a shout out. We talk about how the Irish crowds in Bellator have always been pretty good and pretty awesome. The British crowds as well, in terms of combat sports, whether it be at Bellator or UFC, especially after this event, especially it's been 3 years since they've had UFC. This crowd deserves a clap for how they were in this event. British crowds are always exciting and fun to watch. And they make the show more fun. I gotta give them a shout out. And I think this event puts a lot of pressure on Tyson Fury and what's the other guy's name? I forget what's his opponent's name? Tyson Fury, and he's also British too. I forget. You remember Tyson Fury's fighting?
I haven't even been keeping up with boxing because they made it so hard to cover for this show that I haven't really been keeping up with it. I know he has an opponent scheduled very soon. I just don't know the name.
Dillian White. There we go.
Dillian White. Yeah, that's right. Because Dillian White, he didn't show up to the press conference. That's why.
Yes.
That's why I remember him. Yeah.
I know this might sound weird for me saying, but I feel like the crowd atmosphere and the event and how well it went so well. This is going to be an event that British combat sports fans are going to be talking about for a long time, and it's showcased like the growth of MMA in the UK. And I think for Fury and White, I think there's pressure, not a little bit, not too much. I think for them to deliver, consider they're fighting in Wembley Stadium in next month. And I just think maybe, I mean, I think for either one of them to deliver, because I know both of them are British, for that event to be good. Because I feel like because for a long time boxing's always been king in England. It'll still be king in England. It'll still be popular over there. But it'd be bad if that event is not as good especially in front of 100,000 people, or just mediocre. And then you have this UFC event in London a month earlier. It's just that everyone's just praising and loving and things like that, etc. Although Tyson Fury is always does something entertaining. It's usually Fury usually delivers.
I mean, the problem is though, the reason why I don't think that event is going to deliver to the class of the UFC simply because you're not going to like the fights leading up to the main event. They're just not going to be as powerful as the ones we got with this in the UFC. I don't think so. The undercards are never that powerful in a boxing event, or at least they haven't been for a while.
Right. But like I said, maybe I'm wrong by what I believe about pressure on the Dillian White and Tyson Fury fight in terms of for that card deliver. I could be somewhat wrong, but part of me kind of feels that way. But it's Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury usually equals entertainment, whether it be the pre-fight, trash talk and the press conferences or the event itself, including the entrances. So we'll see. It's next month, so we don't have to wait too much for that fight.
Okay. So I mean, as we're finished with this card, we can head right into the next card that's happening this Saturday, UFC Fight Night. Also on ESPN Plus. This time, it's happening in the US. So the start time for the preliminaries will be at 4 p.m. This is the main event is Curtis Blades versus Chris Daukaus in the heavyweight division. And man, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Austin.
Go ahead.
Maybe because of this last card, like I'm gonna keep an open mind, but a lot of these names here I'm not too excited for.
I mean,
there's a couple of names. There's a couple of like realistically looking at it, there's maybe 2 to 3 fights I'm interested in. Askar Askarov versus Kai Kara France.
Yep.
The main event itself, and Max Payne Griffin versus who is he fighting? Neil Magny. That's going to be interested in the preliminary.
That's but all in all, fight. Wow.
You see, that lets you know the card looks a little wonky right now. For that fight to be in the preliminaries, it's a little wonky.
It is. I mean, Neil Magny's been consistently ranked for a long time. I think he's still ranked. I think he's what, 11 or 10? Let me check the rankings.
Give me one moment. I'm gonna check it myself.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, Neil Magny is 9, right? Wait, let me refresh the page. Yeah, Neil Magny is 9.
He's ranked number 9. He's in the preliminaries. I know Max Griffin's not ranked, but still, Max Griffin has looked good in his last several fights. He's been on a little roll. Kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, but like I said, this card looks very wonky.
This is the first U.S. Fight Night card outside the Apex. This is in Columbus, Ohio, in front of fans. So I do wonder how that's going to play into this fight, considering these fighters, unless they've fought on pay-per-view, they haven't exactly been on, fighting in front of fans the last several years. Also, I forgot to mention that Tom Aspinall, that was his first fight in front of fans in the UFC, since all his fights in the UFC had no fans in them, or little fans. And for some of these guys, it's the first time in a while they fight in front of fans. So wonder if how that affect their performances, where or not they'll go out there and give the extra, do something extra or not. But the main event is pretty interesting. You have Curtis Blades, a guy we know how good he is, especially his wrestling game. He's probably some of the best in the heavyweight division. Against Chris Daukaus, a guy who before December was on a roll. He was he won like 4 in a row or 5 in a row, and then the Derek Lewis fight happened where he got knocked out. And I do want to see how he bounces back from a knockout like that especially against a guy like Curtis Blades. Although he doesn't have the knockout power, like in terms of stand up, guy who could take you down and do damage on top of you. If you see his fight with Alistair Overeem, we did in that fight back in 2018.
Yep. And also you can see, i.e., what he did against Yair Rozenstruik recently, where he just kind of systematically took down Yair Rozenstruik, and like the crazy part is he kind of struck better with Yair Rozenstruik than a lot of people anticipated, and then he was even able to take him down and he was very systematic. Excuse me. Curtis Blades is very, very, very systematic. So Chris Daukaus is going to have to be very careful as to what type of Curtis Blades is he going to get. How can he endure against the striking Curtis Blades, and what is he going to do against the Curtis Blades that chooses to grapple against him? So that one is going to be very, very interesting.
It is. I think Curtis Blades is the favorite. Go into that fight if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I'm wrong,
Let me check. Yeah, he's a slight favorite.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I think Curtis Blades will win this fight personally. I think his wrestling is extremely good. I think it's probably the best wrestler that Daukaus has fought probably in the UFC, probably in his whole career. I don't think, unless there's someone else I'm mistaken that I don't remember he fought.
Nah, I don't think so. I'm gonna look through some of his past fights right now. Nope.
No. No, it's basically.
Yeah, this is the most accomplished grappler he's faced to date.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a problem for him. I think that's gonna be the difference in this fight between Daukaus and Blades. That's why I think Blades is gonna win this fight personally. When we finish him, maybe, could be, but also I can see be 5 rounds of him just dominating Daukaus like he did against Volkov.
I can see it somewhere where they both get tired around the 3rd round, and then Blades and Daukaus end up, the last 2 rounds is just a bear hugging fest, and Blades will be able to get the better of him there.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's a good point. And then the co-main event, I think it's an interesting fight in the co-main event in the women's flyweight division between Joanne Wood, not Calderwood, Wood, because she married her coach. I forget his first name, but his last name is Wood. Going against Alexa Grassos. Alexa Grassos looked pretty good recently, ever since she's moved up from strawweight to flyweight. She looks like, she's known to have great boxing. Her game's getting a lot better in terms of grappling, etc. I'm excited to see Alexa Grassos can go out there and do something, have a dominant, great performance against Joanne Wood, who's not exactly an easy girl to beat. She's won some fights, Joanne Wood. She usually stays in the top 10, but usually not many girls dominate her like that, unless you're someone like Jessica Andrade or who else? I'm trying to remember. Someone else did finish her like that. I forget who it was. But usually, if you gotta be really special, go out there and you gotta go out there and really be a special type of female to put away Joanne Wood or just destroy her.
Now I agree with that 100%. This is also a ranked battle between 7 and 11. Joanne Wood being the 7th ranked flyweight, Alexa Grasso being the 11th ranked flyweight. So, very interested in this. Very interested in the outcome and how this shakes the standings, because we know that Valentina Shevchenko is looking for an opponent.
Yes, she is, and she does. And this this could be an opportunity to put themselves way closer to that title picture, considering flight division right now at the moment it's not exactly a deep division like the strawweight division is. And so it definitely helps have help one. If one of these girls has great performance, they can definitely make their case for a title fight a lot better than most girls in their weight class in the certain positions. Both of these women.
Most definitely. And also on this main card, like I said, I'm very interested in this one in the men's flyweight division. Askar Askarov versus Kai Kara France. This could potentially be a decider for who's next up in title contention.
Yeah, I mean, the winner of this fight could potentially fight for the belt next, potentially. Considering Askar Askarov is ranked number 2 and Kai Kara France is ranked number 6. Kai's come out of that big victory over Cody Garbrandt back in December, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was December. Yeah, it was.
Yes,
It was
yes, yes.
269. And Askar Askarov, I believe, is undefeated. Or I think he has one draw on his record. He's 15-0-1.
Yeah, one draw. Yeah.
I mean, Askar Askarov is it's like a dark horse in that division, considering he's a small, he's a guy from Dagestan who's got good wrestling and has 7 submission, and half his victories are by submission. So that's up. He tends to submit guys if you're not careful on the ground. And Kai Kara French train out of CK boxing. We all know CK boxing guys have pretty good striking. We saw in the Cody Garbrandt fight how good his striking was.
Yeah, and another thing I want to take into account with this fight, Askar Askarov is coming off a year of layoff. He has not had any activity versus Kai Kara France having activity in December. I wonder if that's going to play a factor into this fight as to who's going to be sharper and things of that nature.
That's a good point. If that I didn't realize Askar hasn't fought in over a year. You say over a year, right?
Yeah, the last fight he had was against Benavidez March 6, 2021.
Okay, so just a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder the inactivity hurts him.
Yep, that he could possibly have built up some ring rust there. So that's going to be something to look out for as well. But this very well is a number 1 contendership, because we know it feels like Moreno and Figueiredo, they have unfinished business still.
Yeah, I do. I still want to see the 4th fight. I mean,
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. Settle it once and for all. Settle it once and for all, man. Who says why not? We could settle it once and for all while these two decide who the number 1 contender is. And then after that, once those two finish off their business, you already know the next matchup. And even from there, if whoever the loser is out of that matchup, you know who they're fighting next. Pantoja.
I was gonna say Pantoja's still in the mix. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean Pantoja can. Winner of this fight can fight Pantoja, considering only Pantoja. Wait, Pantoja doesn't have a fight yet, right? For some reason,
No.
I don't know why I thought he did for some odd reason. The thought came in my head, but that's not the case at all. But this is a big fight. Go ahead.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything booked.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do the 4th fight between Moreno and Figueiredo, which I think most people like to see a 4th fight, so that once and for all, maybe you can have the winner of this fight Pantoja next, and where that fights the winner of the title.
I wouldn't even do that though. You know what I do? The winner of this fight fights next for the belt. Pantoja gets to fight the loser between Figueiredo and Moreno. That's what I do.
Huh. Okay. I like that idea. That's not a bad idea either.
I mean, because these guys right now, they're active. Pantoja still needs to get booked. So for me, man, these guys are active, and they're like Kai Kara France has been hungry and been chomping at the bit. Askar Askarov, I know he's been inactive, but he's been chomping at the bit, and rightfully so. I just think rightfully so that this is a title contendership fight.
Oh yeah, it is a title contendership fight. You're definitely right. It's a big fight. I'm excited for this fight. It's probably not the co-main event considering the talent implications. I know it's the flyweight division, but at the same time, it has talent implications. And plus, the co-main event is the women's flyweight division, but still. Surprised it's not the co-main event considering how important this fight is. And this could be a barn burner. I think this could be a very, very good fight. I think it could be fight a night contender, personally.
Yeah. Or it could have a performance of the night in there. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I can see that. And we I guess we can talk about the next fight if you want to talk about it real quickly. Matt Brown against Brian Barberena. Matt Brown
This one, this one doesn't make any sense. So I don't know why this fight is there instead of Neil Magny and Max Griffin.
I think maybe because Matt Brown's from Columbus, Ohio, hometown guy. I agree. I
Oh,
agree.
okay.
But I do agree. Max Griffin and Neil Magny should probably be on the main card though. I mean, I do. I think that deserves to be a main card. Despite that, considering Neil Magny's rank, Max Griffin has looked pretty good in his recent fights. He's coming off the victory of Carlos Condit.
I believe so. Yes.
Yes, Carlos Condit back in July, and then Griffin's won 3 in a row. So, I mean, victory over Neil Magny can pull him in the rankings of welterweight if he was somehow pull out that victory. But Neil Magny's a guy who tends to great grappler. I mean, Neil Magny, if he gets you in his guard, you're in trouble. Unless you're an elite grappler like Damian Maia, you're in trouble if it's a jiu-jitsu grappling matchup because he's so good. He's got like a ton of submission finishes in his career. I forget how many, but I think it's double digits if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, I mean, you kind of bounce from the main event fight to the fight in the preliminaries. And that's how, yeah, but that's how odd the order is. But Matt Brown versus Brian Barberena. What do you think we should expect here?
I expect it to be a lot of stand-up fighting. I mean, it could be some ground game, but Matt. I mean, both guys are well rounded, but I do think it's more likely to be stance striking, considering both guys have deal with decent amount of knockouts in their resumes. I know Brian Barberena, I was checking earlier, has 10 knockouts, and Matt Brown's got like I forget how many. It's a lot. It's double digits. I mean, Matt Brown does deliver some good knockouts. I mean, an elbow he did on Diego Sanchez, we flatlined him. I mean, brutal as hell. Have you ever seen that knockout?
Yes, 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 I have.
Okay, Matt Brown's 15 knockouts. So these guys got 25 knockouts by both of them. So I'm not
Okay,
saying it's
so
gonna
this
happen, but it could be possible if
expect
something.
fireworks. Yeah, expect
Yes.
fireworks.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, expect fireworks, and also his last fight was a victory with Diego Lima via punches in the second round. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And Diego Lima was highly touted at that time too.
yeah, brother of Douglas Lima.
Mm-hmm. So we can move on from there over to the first fight on the main card in the heavyweight division, Alexei Olenek versus Ilir Latifi. Both of these guys are unranked in the heavyweight division.
They are. They
So
are.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I was gonna say they are, but they're not far from like the rankings. I think if one has a great performance, they could be ranked again. Because Olenek
Okay.
wasn't ranked. I mean, Olenek was ranked not that long ago, if I'm mistaken.
See, and this is coming off the back end of the Greg Hardy fight and stuff like that. Remember that order was changed up and who did Greg Hardy lose to?
He lost to
Sergey Spivak.
Spivak. Yeah,
And Spivak ends up number 15 on the ranking. See,
he was. Yeah, he wasn't. That yeah, that's true. But Spitball was ranked like not that long ago prior to that.
so then this fight right here seems like this is a fight for an opportunity to get ranked, and the other guy is possibly going to be in the wayside trying to get another opportunity to get on UFC again. But all in all, that isn't even the most one of the more important matchups to me. Over in the preliminaries, the main event for the preliminaries, Jennifer Maia versus Manon Fior in the women's flyweight division. I think that as well is also going to be very, very important because Jennifer Maia, she's ranked. Manon Fior, she's ranked as well. 4 Jennifer Maia is ranked 4 in the flyweight. Manon Fior is ranked 13. So there's a chance for Manon Fior to jump in the flyweight division. She has been a highly ranked, highly touted prospect, someone who they feel could possibly give Valentina Shevchenko a challenge. So we can see there, maybe.
Mion
Her
Ford.
name has been
Go ahead.
her name has been lumped together with Talia Santos' names as up and comers in the division. So we'll see with that, man. This is a very good opportunity for her.
Yeah, Mion Ford's got 8 victories, 6 by knockout TKO. So if I'm mistaken, I think she's a highly touted like kickboxer or Muay Thai girl. I could be wrong about that.
She's a highly touted kickboxer.
Oh,
Kickboxer.
okay. That would be interesting if she's able to somehow get a fight with Valentina. I mean, I think Valentina will win because she's so well-rounded, but still, unless Mion Ford shows something different in this fight. But I do wonder if kickboxing experience can help her against Jennifer Maya, who we see is not afraid to go for takedowns like she tried to do against Valentina in the title fights. And she only got one takedown successful. But I do wonder how good is Fion's takedown defense. I feel like that would be a question going into this fight: is Fion's takedown defense, and if she does offer
Um,
back if that does happen.
yeah, that is going to be something to look out for. Another thing to look out for is I just want to see, can she step it up, because Manon Fiore's last performance wasn't all too great. I don't remember who the opponent was, but I know I left dissatisfied saying that I thought she could have fought a better fight. I think she gassed herself a little too much in the earlier rounds and had little to nothing left in the later rounds. And so I just think if she could put together a better performance, then maybe that could be very convincing, along with having a highly ranked opponent that can have more so help jump you up into the ranking, and you could be that fresh new blood into the division. But all in all, I think that's going to be a very important matchup here in this fight night.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the flyweight division, since we're talking about it, the women's flyweight division particularly, it seems like a lot of the girls, like there's a lot of up and comers who are like contendership is not deep, but there's a lot of prospects who could make the division more deeper for a couple of years. And I don't want to feel that way because you got Mion Fior, you got Aaron Blanchfield, who's ranked number 15. You also got Casey O'Neill, ranked 12. Miranda Maverick had comeback victory. Well, not comeback
Hmm.
victory, a bounce back performance against Sabina Mazos.
Yeah, we can't forget Talia Santos. We were just talking about Alexa Grasso. Like
Yes,
there's
Brazos. Yep.
yeah, there's a lot of new blood. Even though this person's been sticking around like a little bit, she's still someone that we see highly touted as a up and comer. Macy Barber. I know she annoys us with her slow starts, but she does have some fire behind her in the later rounds. It's just we wish it could be more consistent. But she's also another name in there that we see as someone they're hoping could make a name for herself in the division. So all in all, this division has a lot of names.
But they're not there yet. It's like they're young. It's
Yeah,
like they're upcoming. It's Taya Santos, although she's fighting Valentina for the world title, I don't think she's exactly like ready yet. It's like, I mean, she's 18-1 or 18-1. It's like she's got a good record, but we don't know if it's like she's there yet. But we'll see. That fight's in June. Who knows? Maybe she may shock us all. Possible.
yeah. Maybe she pulls off. Man, what's this girl's name?
Juliana
Juliana
Pena.
Pena. Yep.
I mean,
Maybe
I
she
don't.
pulls off a Julian. What, you say you don't think so?
I'm not gonna. With Valentina, I have to see it to believe it. But
Yeah.
I understand that after what happened with Amanda and Juliana, it's possible. But I don't. Like I said, we gotta wait and see because like I was saying, a lot of young prospects, they're just not there yet. It's kind of like a baseball team where they have a lot of young prospects. Like the farm system's like very good, but it's not exactly like they're not ready to make the major league level. These players, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. So all in all, is there anything else you want to break down from this card?
I Never mind. We already touched on it. The Neil Magny Max Griffin fight.
Okay. So all in all, we're definitely gonna stay in tune for this fight for this card. It's happening on ESPN Plus. The preliminaries start at 4 p.m. Main card at 7. Guys, tune in this Saturday. We will be watching. And yeah, I'm excited for this because that London card, man. I know these guys, they coming off that London card, they got to think like, I got to show out here in front of a crowd. We're back in front of a crowd in the United States. Let's show out.
How about you? You brought the point I was going to mention. That's a great point. This is the first fight night in the United States outside the Apex in front of a crowd, especially after having with London. I feel like they're gonna want to go out and show out, considering how well considering how well it went in London and how in the buzz it's still getting this London card. They're gonna want to definitely make a buzz, go out there and make noise themselves and stand out. Especially they got to start making performance on his ESPN card because it's on ESPN, not ESPN Plus.
Oh, ESPN. Okay, all right. Well, they'll probably air it on ESPN Plus as well because that's part of the package. But all in all, man, this a great card by the UFC last week. Very, very awesome card. The crowd was so into it. The fights were amazing. The atmosphere was there. It was perfecto. Like, just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I'm looking forward to this UFC card coming up here this Saturday as well. UFC Fight Night, Blaze versus Dawkins. It's happening Saturday, March 26th. Ladies and gentlemen, tune in. Be there. Enjoy the fights. Last words from me. I'm enjoying this, man. I love it. I love the fights that are happening. They set the tone. UFC London has set the tone for the rest of the year. Let's go. Ante up. Every card has to be an ante up.
Yes, it has to be. And I'm hoping, I'm optimistic that this card is going to be similar to UFC London, considering, like we mentioned already, first fight night in a crowd in the United States since 2020, early 2020 for fight night. So 2 years has been. Hopefully delivers like London, because London set the tone. I mean, I just pray delivers. Let's hope.
I mean, I just hope that what I hope at the very least is that the crowd is into it.
They will. Oh, they will.
Yeah.
I think the crowd will. Just not the fights. I just hope the fights come through the crowd. That's all I hope.
All right. So last words, man. Yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying these fights. And salute to everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us and have a good night. Austin, your last words?
Thank you guys for watching and listening to us wherever you do YouTube, podcast platforms like Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, etc. Thank you guys for watching, liking the video, sharing. We appreciate it, and hope can't wait to see you guys next week. We break down these fights and go from there. Thank you guys. We appreciate the fan support, all of you, me and Chef Dan and everybody. And thank you everyone for commenting in the live chat tonight. Everybody, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are